Okay, we are recording. Welcome to session 15. I've got everybody here. It's amazing. Who would like a free character point for bringing everybody up to speed on exactly what's going on right now?
Oh my god. Good luck, everyone.
Does everyone remember where they are?
I think I'm underground.
I'm safe on a boat, I think.
Yeah, so I think a vague, there's a trial going on.
There
about,
was.
About the mining guild's loot and what was going to go on with it. Everyone put in their little petitions or whatever, and they went to go inspect it. And I don't quite remember. Ed's character found some stuff to show them. I don't remember exactly what he found, but he found that some stuff was shady.
He spilled the tea, as the kids say.
Yeah, Rorik was on guard duty, like an escort guard duty with some of the lawyer folk. Tice and Avatala were down trying to reverse engineer the shield stuff for the floating doors. I believe I was headed there or on my way there. I don't remember. I don't know if anyone knows what who Kristen's doing. Part of the crowd somewhere, as far as I remember, but.
Well, she did have, Barbas did have that one moment where, in guise of the ambassador, just completely made up what the contents of the shipment contained.
Yes, essentially burning that identity because, everyone is mad at Barnabas now. But that's okay. Barnabas is nowhere to be seen, and no one knew that was Barnabas except for you guys. So that's good. You've definitely earned the character point. Just to bring us all up to speed here. So you left the courthouse after sneaking papers in to implicate the fishing guild in this whole scam.
Mm-hmm.
And you're headed to wherever you wish to be headed to at the moment. Underground crew, you made good progress. The research team is definitely getting a grip on how the force fields work. If I'd even recorded how much progress you made in my notes. There it is. Okay, cool. And then, Ed, Dasco was actually in the warehouse.
I'm pretending to be a Thieves Guild operative at this point. So.
Yes. And you were very vocal and drew a lot of attention to yourself, so that will be interesting. Jackie, Rourke is also in the warehouse, although on the opposite side of that conversation. You're still in deep cover as a security guard.
Mm-hmm.
I am not certain where the druid is. I know the druid was helping with the
druid was at the in our portable room.
Right, so phasing his hand through the wall to push against the force field to show which box was yours. With a little bit of work, you guys might be able to actually open a hole in the force field, and the druid can then disintegrate that hole in the wall, so you'll have a way to get into your box from the cave. which, although the door is still in the inn, so you might at some point want to get the door onto the ship before the ship leaves. But we'll, the ship is not loaded up yet, so there's plenty of time for that. Going through my little list here. Let's see, so Talus in the cave, Remy's on the way to somewhere, Daska's in the warehouse, Rourke's in the warehouse, Barnabas is in the winds, Charles is in the cave, and Duftel is in the inn. So that's where everybody is. Now, having thusly revealed what the contents are of the caravan, Dasko, of course, your deal with the Thieves Guild is concluded, and so they slip you a writ of acceptable thievery. This one is kind of a blank check. Basically, if you leave this note in place of something you've stolen, then the Thieves Guild will cover for you. They're going to say that, yep, that was a lawful taxation, and that's covered. That will be incredibly useful if you decide to steal a tremendous amount of treasure from somebody. So, yeah, that's a good key item to have. But the procession is now going to head back to the courthouse, as they did not uncover any of the grossly illegal stuff that was alleged. No Bennington was found. No Petrish parts were found. They didn't even seem to have any mining explosives, which could have been argued as weapons, although they would have obviously said it's mining equipment, but explosives are explosives, but it wasn't even found, so it doesn't matter. All they found was just ludicrous piles of gold and platinum.
And we opened the doors, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna just keep pushing the just pushing. I'm gonna basically just keep doing the. Could it be true that it's like, could the mining cooperative have purchased specialized items directly from the Applied Thaumaturgy Guild? Could that potentially have been made directly by the Mage Academy? Could the Mage Academy be the mining cooperative? I don't know. These are all very complicated things. I'm just asking questions here.
Thank you, Bill O'Reilly. Or what's the current version of that idiocy?
Tucker Carlson.
Tucker.
Yeah, no, I mean, that combined with what they're going to find out when they get back to the courthouse is going to essentially have, I think, every guild except for the Clothiers Guild implicated in this. And no one likes the Clothiers Guild from that time they tried to poison the crops. So, yeah.
Does anyone have a way to implicate the Clothiers Guild?
I'll figure it out.
Thanks. Don't want anyone to be left out.
Yeah, so the judge and the representatives begin processing back to the courthouse. Do you wish to slip away, or do you want to see how your plans all unfold? This would be to Dasko.
I'm sorry, what was the...
Did you want to slip away as the group processes back to the courthouse, or are you going to stick with them and see how things unfold?
I mean, I'm just going to go, I'm just going to stick with it. I don't feel like this is dangerous, and I feel like there's an opportunity to just stir more chaos.
Okay.
So I'm just going to go ahead and do that.
Rurik, you're held back by the guild, who are, they're sending only token lawyers now. The leadership of the mining cooperative is gathering up. They want you with them. The leading question is, who the hell was that just told everybody where our doors were? This is like a serious security breach. Like, we had a whole plan. We had chests of gold that were laid out that had plenty of gold. They should have been happy to see all those gold coins. Who leaked information that we had magic doors that led to warehouses of even more gold? And as they're talking about it, from out of one of the wine doors in the wine cart comes your war buddy, who catches wind of the description and says, "Wait a second, I think I know who that is. That sounds like Dasco. So if he's in the city, I want to kill him. Give me permission to just leave and go kill him." Edgar is not keen on that. He says that, no, protecting this is still too important. You really can't be causing any additional ruckus. We got out of this by the skin of our teeth. And we're going to need to have all hands on deck to keep this secure, because this attack is not the last attack we're going to see before we get to the docks. Just hold your horses there. But yeah, but if you see him and have an opportunity to capture him alive, please do so. That goes for everybody, he says to your whole little team meeting. He is giving off very angry, like, boss vibes. It's like something's gone really wrong and needs somebody to blame, can't blame anybody. But he's got this name now, Dasco, from the physical description that he gave to Delia. Meanwhile,
which is bad because she fucking hates Dasco's guts.
Oh yeah, she wants to murder Dasco.
I think, given the opportunity, I don't think she would obey orders.
No.
Stuff got messy.
Yeah.
Wait, when did she see Dasco?
She didn't. She was away on a mission and has come back in and has just heard a physical description of Dasco.
Yeah, but when in the past did...
Oh, she and Dasco used to be on the same crew.
Oh, this is not from...
This is part of the Dasco's
okay.
backstory. She's one of his backstory characters.
Yeah, okay, never mind.
They were part of a mercenary band, and then they broke off from that mercenary band together to form their own little private crime organization, and then that fell apart.
Yeah, I thought it was from Rorik's crew. My bad.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, you have that information. All right. The spells that are keeping your guys' communications up and running are starting to weaken. So you might need to recast that spell. It's going to be difficult if you can't gather everyone in one place. So that is something for the mages of the crew to try and work out. And in the meantime, back at the courthouse, everyone has regathered. Adius, the currently acting judge, looks at the stack, sees that there is a piece of paper on the stack he hasn't read, picks it up to read it, and says, "Oh, the fishing guild. Okay, we'll deal with that." So he puts that back down. He says, "All right, we seem to have collected evidence. We also seem to be finished putting complaints on this stack. This is, we're going to start going through the stack and addressing each into their own case file. So we'll start at the top. Fishing Guild. You want to expedite this. That is excellent. That will be a case." He puts that down. And he starts going through them, and he gets to basically a part where there's an argument starts up that a new case should be filed and a new motion should be filed against Korloff. The Korloff ambassador gave false information about the stuff. This argument ends up kind of running contradictory to arguments that had been made previously about using the Korloff information as a basis for whether or not they had the right to tax. So lawyers end up arguing against their own earlier statements. General chaos ensues, and then the Thieves Guild backs out. they withdraw their complaint, go and pick up all their papers from the stack, and essentially take their toys and go home. This is seen as extremely suspicious by the other organizations there. The Crimson Guard are really bristling at this. They want to file petitions to censure the guilds. And the whole issue of the actual stuff gets lost in this inter-guild fighting. It's just brewed up tension. And so Adius is forced to rule on the mining cooperative stuff as free to leave the city. And he now has to go on to deal with a bunch of other lawsuits that are being filed against each other as all the guilds basically turn on each other. This is going to be quite a chaotic court scene for a while. But Daska, the results of your talent use there are you get to see them all come to fruition. Total chaos.
Awesome. Gonna make my way to my ship, preferably in a crowd, and try and sell off whatever pastries I have.
Nice. All right. Word gets back to you, Rourke, that the court orders have come through that the mining cooperative is to be allowed to exit the city peacefully. You guys just start getting the wagons together. They are only taking 6 of them. The full wagon train is being left behind. They're only taking the 6 that actually have valuables in them.
Cool.
The soldiers are being promised
stationed?
that they won't need their beds in the carts because there'll be berths available for them on the ships.
Cool.
So you had a question?
Where am I being stationed?
At the front of the caravan. The caravan needs to safely get through the city streets to get to the docks.
Gotcha.
It is in a warehouse at the north end of the city. The docks are at the south end of the city. There's a lot of street that has to be traveled. And there's a lot of celebre, which is full of celebrans.
Mm.
Which is another way to say opportunists.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm at the front then, and I scan. So we're trying to move through the city right now.
That is the plan.
Okay, and so I guess I'll just be alert and aware, see if any shit's going down, or see if I see any of my teammates in the crowd, things like that. Wait for signals, things like that.
So, quick question. With regards to our communication spell, how close do we all have to be to each other? Like, do we have to, like, group up? Or if we were all, like, in the same general vicinity, I could pick them out.
I will be basing your difficulty on the distance from the furthest member.
Okay.
Technically, you can cast this spell whenever, but it might be a really hard spell to cast.
Right. I mean, I think we're just way too far apart right now with the two of us down trying to figure out this thing. So I'm going to focus primarily on figuring this out.
Okay. So you and Charles can make another attempt. This will be your noon attempt since the morning has passed. Every success brings you closer to success.
So... What were we rolling again? I'm assuming I had 5 dice, but I'd like to know just for the record.
I mean, mostly what you're doing is a cunning kind of manipulation of these pieces of equipment. Your scholarship is very, very useful because you're dealing with magical things from an ancient time.
Right.
these are not inventions that were made recently. This is like old archaeological stuff from a time period and a technology level way above what you guys currently have. That said, you do have a few broken ones and a successfully disabled one to look at as examples. At the moment, your primary goal is to be able to open a hole in yours so you can get to the one that your door leads to. That door is currently in the inn. It might be a good idea for somebody to go take that door down to the docks and get it onto one of the boats.
Yep. That's probably going to have to be a Troy or a Troy Rowdy deal.
Yeah, Duftel and Remy are the closest characters to that. Duftel being literally there, and Remy being potentially on the way there. Also, Barnabas could be anywhere. You never know. That might be Barnabas right behind you, for all you know.
God. Gene Parmesan!
Perfect.
Could I also argue to add my investigation onto these rolls because, well, I'm investigating something to try and reverse engineer it.
All right, I'll allow investigation instead of scholarship.
Instead? Okay.
Yeah, you'd have to choose one or the other.
Cool. 3 successes.
Okay.
Also 3 successes. I'm using my scholarship.
Okay. That is a significant amount of progress. So you guys, you haven't quite figured out how to make a hole yet, but you think you've got enough knowledge to start working safely. So you can start doing this without... you figured out how to not bring the thing down on your heads, the way that the ones did when you took them out with massive explosions.
Yes.
Additionally, you can weaken it enough to be able to speak through it. So the sound dampening properties are something you can turn off now.
Basically, if I could do that, I'm just going to shout through the door, get this door to the docks.
Alrighty.
Because I'm presuming at this point, like, the last thing we hear is the verdict, and then our spell starts to
collapse, yeah.
yeah. Like, get this thing to the docks, I'll recast the spell when we're done here.
Alright, so Troy, that would be you heard that from inside the room. Are you here and able to play your character, or are you just listening?
I'm primarily just listening.
Okay. So I'm going to say that you start disassembling the door and taking it down to the docks.
Yeah, that works.
Very good. All right. Along the way to the docks, of course, you run into Dasco. And so you guys are trotting together. Remy, you may or may not show up if you wish.
I was going down to the cave.
Oh, you're going down to the cave. Okay.
Yep.
Very good. Alrighty. Rurik, you see, as you're marching, you can see that Delia is looking around the crowd, like just in a angry huff.
Ooh, okay, cool. Do I see Dasco anywhere? Hopefully not.
No.
Okay, good.
But you know that you're heading towards the docks. And the last thing you heard on the comms before they shut off was that Dasco is heading towards the docks.
Gotcha. Where was Dasco located at the time that we began marching relative to the docks?
The courthouse.
Courthouse. Okay, so like how much time would I have? I assume we're going slower because we're marching with a fuck ton of stuff.
Yes.
Okay. So I guess I'm just hoping that he's ahead of us.
He is probably almost certainly ahead of you. Going on foot, he's going to be much faster than your carts.
Right.
The oxen pulling the carts are not going to be super fast, although you're going down streets, but you're going slow because you're constantly on the lookout for any kind of attack. You'll go even slower if you are attacked.
Is there any way I can sort of facilitate a distraction, something to delay us?
Currently at your disposal, you have 6 wagons that are, they have doors in them that lead to various places, but they're also full of chests of gold. Gold coins this time, not like the gold bars like was in the door.
Right.
These were meant to be the distraction to make everybody think and see what they expected to see, which was a giant pile of currency. You generally get the impression that even though this is a ridiculous amount of wealth, it's the expendable level that they're willing to sacrifice to get the real treasures in those doors down.
Right, right. Okay, so is there anybody shifty looking in the crowd that I know is not a known associate of mine?
Most of the crowd.
Excellent. I'm going to start mad dogging some people and seeing if I can't find like a particularly rowdy, or is there anybody who's sort of drunk and has poor impulse control that I can manipulate in this situation?
There probably are, although most people, when you start mad dogging them, get pretty intimidated. They see your belt.
I'm too big!
You're huge, you're huge, you're muscled, and you have a demon's tail as a belt, which is not something one comes by lightly. So you're very intimidating to most people. You'd have to find somebody very drunk.
Yeah. What do I got to roll to find a drunk person?
At noon in Celebre, I would say make a resources check.
Let me see what I got. I don't know what I got here. Let me see.
You probably only really need 1 success. This is not like a particularly party city, so to speak, but it's also not like a very uptight city either. The thing is, there's a war on, so most of the serious people are out dealing with that, and it is noon. It's not really the drinking hour.
I have no resources, just connections. So I will not be able to roll anything at all.
If you make a connections roll, you might be able to come up with a pub where you expect there'll be drunk people, and you could try to redirect the caravan there. It'd be a little more than just a connections check. You're going to have to convince these people to reroute the caravan.
Nah, okay, let's see. I'm trying to figure out what else I can do, I guess.
Okay. While you're thinking about that, meanwhile down at the docks, you guys have arrived with the door. Okay, so there are 3 boats. There's the boat that Daskell has made a lot of friends on. And that is a good boat. That boat also has, from Charles's observations, somewhere on it, 3 other doors are hidden. They were taken there in secret during the middle of the night. And those 3 doors are probably the ones that had the missing Petrish parts, explosives, and Bennington in them. Charles, do you recall which boat those went onto? I think it was the friendly boat.
Yeah, it was the friendly boat. Yeah, it was the one. Yeah, because like.
Do you guys want to load your door onto that boat? Bear in mind, Dasko, you've made a lot of connections on that boat. You've got that crew like wrapped around your finger.
We also have a backup boat if we ever need it.
Yeah, there's three galleons in total. Each one is going to have 2 of the carts.
Yeah, and the 4th one hasn't risen up yet.
Dasko, do you have a plan? Or an intention? Since plans seem to be...
I mean, am I back at the boat yet?
Yes.
You're
back at the boat. Along the way, you ran across Duftel, who's carrying the door and the frame. To the door, remaining door, the one that works still, the one that you guys haven't broken yet.
Gotcha. Okay, so I'm interested in where the missing doors went.
So Charles told you over the comms that before the comms went out, this would be the previous evening, that he witnessed a box that is the size of 3 doors being loaded onto the ship. And that box is currently under guard by some of the mining cooperative soldiers.
Okay. Fair enough. We'll figure that out. It's on my ship, though, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
The question right now is which ship, either your ship or one of the 2 others, do you guys want to load your own door onto?
I don't have any particular plan or strategy here. I'm not even sure what we're going to put in that door. I mean, we could put all of our stuff in that door.
The door leads to the cave, so if your mage team is able to figure out how to bring the force field down, then wherever you take that door, you'll be able to get back to Celebre in that secret hidden cave that nobody else knows about because you've killed everybody, except for the mining cooperative. They know about it, and they also have access to that cave.
Yeah.
But it would give you access to it as well.
Gotcha. So if the comms are still on, I'm just going to say
they're not.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm not sure what's going to happen yet, but what I know is there's a bunch of gold getting on a ship that we have control over. There's a door that leads to a place that the mining cooperative is going to try and smuggle a bunch of that stuff. Mining cooperative has access to that place. We currently do not, though we know where it is. They're going to go into that place to retrieve their stuff and do some sort of weird double nonsense, or expect someone to do something like that. But we know where they're going to go to look for this stuff if it gets stolen, especially if it gets stolen through a door, and especially if that theft is conspicuous and we're using a door. The other thing that I know is that we have access to a ridiculous amount of explosives. So that's important. Yeah, so I'm just going to take all that information, let it stew around, and then get safely on the ship and start talking to my crew about the mining cooperative people that are on board.
Okay, so you're bringing the door that you guys have aboard the ship.
Yeah, I don't see a reason why not.
Cool.
There's nothing in it, right? It's like has no value really. It's just a.
Oh no, it has value. It has a lot of value because that door, once your underground mage team finishes their research project, that door is going to lead you directly to the cave whenever you want.
Yeah, I mean that door is going to lead me directly to a place where the mining cooperative knows to look for us.
Yes, but it's also going to lead you to a place where the mining cooperative thinks they're the only ones that can get to.
Right. They aren't going to be patrolling this area.
Gotcha.
And if you know exactly which door to break, you could prevent the mining cooperative from ever being able to get there again.
I see. My current plan is to have them know that we're going there, like we're a bunch of amateurs, and then ambush us there. And then that would allow us to get rid of the mining cooperative and a large amount of explosives all in one go. But yeah, we'll see.
The last similar attempt at that unleashed a monster too, so there's lots of good reasons to do things like that.
I mean, it's fine. They have to deal with the cave and like collapses and ceilings. I just have to close the door, right? So it's not a big deal to me. The stuff that we want isn't behind any of these doors.
And if they survive the initial blast, potentially death from infection, starvation, cannibalism. Yep, all the good stuff.
Yeah. So my general intention with the other 3 doors, there's one with Bennington, one with Petra's parts, and one with explosives, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So my general plan with those is to just throw them overboard somewhere at sea.
Okay.
Except maybe the explosives. There might be plans for the explosives, but the rest of it's useless, and nobody should have access to that stuff, particularly not Corlanth, but also not Celebre. And so I'm happy to just toss that overboard. It has no real value. I can't fence it.
One of the really kind of crazy things about all this is that, for all intents and purposes, while they're trying to take the doors to Corlanth, the actual stuff is staying in Celebre. Because that's where the doors lead, is to a cave in Celebre. I mean, they're leading into rooms in a cave in Celebre that can't be accessed by any other means other than the door, unless you guys tamper with the force fields for other rooms.
Yeah, I'm not a wizard, so the fact that all the valuable stuff that I can fence or sell or use to buy more pastries to sell to people for 10 times what I paid for them is in boxes, which I understand. I understand how boxes work. You open them, you put stuff in them, and it's there when you open them again, right? I don't understand how magical doors work, and so I'm immediately distrustful of all this nonsense.
Okay. Sounds good. So you and Duftel get the door in, and Duftel starts looking for a place to set up the frame. Do you have a room that you've gotten the crew to assign to you?
What was the question again? Sorry.
Are you just like sleeping on the deck, or do you have a room on this boat?
Oh, I'm sleeping with the crew. We play Liar's Dice. We're mates, so I tell them stories all the time.
So Duftel nudges you and says something along the lines of, we need a private room to set up this frame.
Okay.
So Evatala technically owns these boats, right?
Correct.
So Evatala has a room, presumably.
Presumably, yes.
I would have just told them that where my room was.
Okay. I mean, if I know that Evatala has a room, I'll just say, cool, come into my room, and then I'll take them into Evatala's room.
Okay, so Duftel goes to Evatala's private suite and begins setting up the frame to get the door back online. Meanwhile, on the streets, I love that every time I'm checking to see like player activities, I scroll past Barnabas and it's just a question mark. It's like could be anywhere.
Master of disguise.
Yup.
Anywhere and everywhere.
Anyone. And anytime you see a dwarf in the crowd, it could be Barnabas. You don't know. Alrighty. The caravan's about halfway through the city now. It's starting to head down the downward slopes towards the pier, passing the large city graveyard, where investigations and yellow police rope are still hanging about.
Awesome. So is there a way for me to kind of just like slow down the caravan because there's all this like shit in the way?
Yes, you're on point, which means you're in the front. So if you stop, the caravan stops.
Okay, so I'll basically kind of like look for a path to lead the caravan through. I'm gonna, try to redirect them around the block, but I'm also gonna try and choose a route that I think is a little bit more out of the way.
Okay. You get nods of approval from that. Like, yeah, out of the way. So avoid the main thoroughfares. Throw them off. Are you taking them down like kind of a dark alley? It's got to fit the caravan, of course, but there are some seedy places.
I mean, we're rough and tough, right? We can handle a little shady back alley action.
Yep.
That's
Okay.
what we're here for, and definitely the authorities will be less likely to come through this way.
Indeed. And it turns out it is not authorities that attack you. It's what we would call rogue thieves, which is to say that they are thieves that are not affiliated with the Thieves Guild. They're a gang that got a little big for their britches and thought, if we take this, we don't have to pay our Thieves Guild dues.
Unlicensed thief activity.
Unlicensed thieving. They're waiting on the roofs of the buildings or as you go by, and their intention, it seems, is to blind and take, as their opening salvo are little beads that burst into darkness powder, creating areas of magical darkness in which one cannot see. They then begin leaping into these areas of darkness, looking to grab coins and jump out of them again. Now, many of the people in your party are armed to the teeth and soldiers, and a couple of them even reach down to their belts and drink potions that cause them to kind of hulk out. Like they grow physically larger, filling out their normally baggy uniforms. Their muscles become much more defined, and they start trying to fight back. But they are having a little bit of difficulty because they can't see, and clearly the people that are attacking have some minor amount of training in dealing with not being able to see when avoiding attacks and grabbing stuff to run. Your options are to try and power through, to stand and fight, or come up with something else.
Tortuga.
Tortuga?
We get into a defensive position where we interlock our defensive capabilities to form a shell.
Okay. So you've got six...
We're going to encircle the caravan and defend it, basically.
So you have 6 carts pulled by oxen in an alley.
Gotcha. There's no... Okay. Well, I guess then power through is the option.
Okay.
We're going to plow.
You plow through. Definitely some coin is lost. There's a couple chests not there anymore.
I brush it off and say, "Don't worry, boys. It's all part of doing business."
When you reach an opening and are able to encircle, the thieves are uninterested in pursuing. They know that they would lose that fight, and they vanish into the city.
Like, yeah, it's a bummer, but I basically assume that these little chests and coins are basically like no skin off anyone's back because they're meant to be a distraction anyways.
Delia looks like she's about to run after them. Rage has filled her mind. Do you want to try to prevent her?
I mean, Dasko's not there with them, I assume. So
True. It does mean you'll lose track of where she is.
it does, but she'll be in the opposite direction, I assume.
She'll
She
also
would be abandoning the caravan.
and she will be much, much more mobile.
Yeah, so it would be, I'll just say, like, hey, a job's a job, but you gotta stick with the caravan. What they took is chump change.
Okay, make a persuasion check.
Cool. Can't it be leadership? Anyways, persuasion and what?
It can be leadership if you want to go that route. You would be shouting orders at her, essentially, even though you're not her commander. But yeah.
I'll just say it's a dereliction of duty.
Yep.
So that would be my approach to telling her, like, don't fuck around, don't lose your cool.
That seems very focus plus leadership to me. Ignoring her wishes and reminding her of her duty.
Do I get any pips?
Do you have any items that indicate authority?
Other than my badass belt, no.
Your belt is pretty badass. You can take pips from your belt for this. After all, she fought in the same war and understands and respects what that belt means.
And the pips is the quality of the item, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Did that roll in Talus or in...
Session?
That rolled in session, and my session didn't update. Give me a second. There we go. If a window loses focus for too long, it stops updating on my recording. Okay. Wow. Oh, those pips helped a lot. All right. Yeah. She snaps back to it and comes back and is like, sorry. I'm just on edge.
Clap her on the shoulder and say, no worries.
So I think I may need a moment. While we're stopped here, is it okay if I take a moment inside one of the caravan? One of the carts.
She's requesting to be alone?
She is. She's requesting to go into the cart that has the door that she can use to get to the cave.
Are there carts with like barracks in them, like beds, or no more, right?
All of those were left behind. The only carts here are ones with doors, and it looks like the head of the group is going to grant her permission.
Fuck. Well, I can't think of anything convincing to discourage her from that, to be honest with you. But
okay, so yeah, he says, "All right, go ahead, take a breather." And so she steps through. Meanwhile, in the cave, you guys are you told me previously you're trying to be stealthy about this. You're making sure you don't leave marks behind. So I'm going to presume that you're also being relatively quiet, and you hear the closing of a door inside one of the mining cooperative's boxes.
Is Remy with us now? Or is Remy
yes,
still on?
Remy's there. Remy has come down and joined you. And you are you think you're on the verge of understanding it. You now can have sound communication with the rooms, and one very small innovation, and you'll be able to actually make holes and create your own access point.
Okay.
Remy, you have joined them, and your well-attuned thiefly ears pick up the sound of someone coming.
Is it one of the ones that they've broken through the shield on?
It's one of the ones that they have disabled the shield on, yes.
Okay. Real quick, how does flash work? Or no, sorry, not flash. What is it? Blink.
The spell?
Yep.
Generally, Blink allows you to teleport yourself to a location that you can see.
That I can see. And what can we see? Does this cave open up to the giant pit that was the mage college?
So this cave opens up to a hallway, and that hallway goes in two directions. So there's like basically a door in the side of that hall that leads in here. One of those directions is deeper into the unknown, and the other one goes to a place where you can see clearly into the pit, like a giant archway, but also has a little bit of rubble on the side where you came in.
Okay, and that door's open, right? So
Yes.
I can see the pit.
There's in fact nothing to close it. It is an open space, yeah.
I am going to. So there's a door coming out of the room, right?
Yeah. You want me to sketch it to make it a little easier to understand?
Yeah, I just want to position myself so that way when someone walks out of that, if someone walks out of that room, I would be behind where I would expect them to come out of.
Okay. Oh, all right. So the room that we're referring to, where you're hearing the door close, is actually one of the boxes that's suspended in the air. Yeah, it has a little hole that's been cut underneath it where the shield has been weakened so that people can come in and out. So,
Gotcha.
Yeah, you can position yourself near that hole, ready to jump on somebody.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. You got it, no problem. Don't need to use Blink for that.
I'm not going to use Blink for that.
Okay.
I have a suggestion. Is anyone a master of moving earth to be able to make an instantaneous pit trap right underneath the hole, so when whoever jumps through just falls to their death?
Your earth maneuver is currently setting up the door and will be back online shortly.
I mean, Avatala can always give it a go. That is always an option.
True.
She can just wing it.
I'm just debating whether it would be better to create a trap or to be invisible. I'm going to try one of those two things.
Invisible would be better.
Yeah. How difficult would it be to turn 3 people invisible?
I mean, yeah, the more people, the harder, but yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I figured out what Remy's plan is, too. It's going to be exciting to see.
Hi, you intrude.
Hi, Jake. We're in the middle of a session. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good.
Remy, do you want or need invisibility?
Wouldn't hurt.
Okay. I'm going to try and turn the 3 of us invisible. But if I fail and I'm only able to get 1 or 2 of us, Remy will be the last one.
Okay.
Okay.
Is this type of invisibility that is for a long time, or will it dissipate after you cast a spell or do an action that is offensive?
I'd imagine it would dissipate when I cast a spell.
So the sort of classical invisibility is the one that really only functions until you do something that distorts it. which is generally casting a spell, making an attack, something that where you overly interact with your environment or with another person. Now, there are high-level, challenging versions of the spell that are not impacted by that. Invisibility is basically you're giving successes to stealth checks, is what the spell functionally does. And the usual interpretation is something like 5 successes to stealth checks, which is massive and powerful and makes it high level to cast. So having the disadvantage of, but you can only do it while you're not attacking, not casting spells, putting those limits on it brings the difficulty down. It makes it an easier spell to cast, as it doesn't have to maintain invisibility over all scenarios and stuff. So a classic invisibility for yourself is like a second circle spell. A classic invisibility for a small group of people near you is like a third circle spell. But those high grade, like, you're invisible until I say otherwise spells exist, but they're probably out of your reach.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to reach that. Even at half the difficulty. Yeah. Maybe if I was like super lucky, I could reach it by myself if it was only me at half the difficulty. But I'd be really surprised if I was able to do so.
Good news is this is definitely within your domain of PP spells.
Yeah. So I'm going to try and just turn all 3 of us invisible until, individually you prefer an action, I presume. Action, that distorts it, obviously.
So third circle, difficulty 3, with your advantage, difficulty 2, and you may roll.
All right. So once again, I always forget what I need to add on to the magic.
Because you have advantage, you can add your cunning plus scholarship. And if you have any magical tools to help with casting, like a magic staff, you could get pips from it.
No. She's basically just a waste of talent. Six successes.
All right, you killed it. Tax your magic, and you have invisibled yourself, Charles, and Remy.
Cool.
Remy, you're in position when you see an incredibly buff-looking woman descend. She's not like Faithanok build, kind of wiry, but extreme muscle definition. This is a fighter. Scars on her. Does she carry? Is she dual wield swords? Is that? I'm trying to remember what her picture looked like.
Dahlia?
Yeah.
She wields a bastard sword or a 2-handed sword.
Okay.
She fought in. She's very old. I mean, she fought in.
She fought in the Demon Wars, right?
Well, she was part of. The Kailaron's army. She got caught up in that whirlwind with a bunch of other people. So.
All right. So I want to reverse pickpocket my blink card into her pocket and activate it to go over the pit.
Okay. Let's see that reverse pickpocket roll. Or is that a talent?
I do have a pickpocket talent.
Hell yeah, bro.
This is why I never get rid of my loot.
Wow. Yeah, you can just spend one crime and you don't have to roll. That's
like
quite a talent.
like taking candy from a baby. Yeah, that's a good one.
And because you're not the one casting the spell, you remain invisible. Technically, you didn't do anything. It wasn't a stealthy interaction. All right. In a puff of magic, Delia disappears. You hear a brief moment of cursing outside the door.
Charles will just like casually walk over to where the edge is and like pull out his stopwatch just in case. Like if she had died on impact, he'll see if there's a soul to collect.
Very good. Always check the body. She's about 30 feet down with her sword wedged into the rock, clinging to the sword on the side. She's rebalancing herself and getting ready to start climbing the rock.
Oh my god.
I'll just
so much.
I'll just Eldritch Blast, basically undead blast her, just sort of like flick, because she cannot see me, so she'll be knocked away from her sword. Hopefully, this will get rid of our problem.
Okay, so you're going to try to manifest just some random necrotic energy and throw it at her. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. How much energy are you going to try and gather? How many dice are you trying to throw at her, basically? Because remember, you have to roll for this too. So if you can contain the energy, you can throw a lot of dice at her.
I could potentially throw 11 dice at her with advantage, would give me a...
Well, no, so what I'm asking is, how much energy do you want to gather? So you can potentially throw 11 dice at casting a spell, right?
Yes.
So what you want to decide is you basically want to make a bet. You want to figure how many successes you're going to try to conjure. And as long as you get more than those successes, you'll be casting the spell and throwing a ball of hurt at her. But if you get less than that number of successes, then you're going to hurt yourself. You're dealing with raw necrotic energy. This is not even a spell. This is just throwing a ball of bad. So you need to pick how much bad you think you can channel safely.
I'm gonna go big here. I'm gonna go. Do I say how many successes I need, or like just something?
Yeah. So the number you pick is how many successes you need to cast the spell. It's also the number of dice you'll roll if you're successful. But if you're not successful, you're going to take damage.
I'm going to go with 6 successes. I'm going to do a few things. I have my pendant, which will give me some pips, but I'm also going to I'm going to blow my perception, and I'm going to also what's it called?
Omniscience?
Omniscience it.
Okay. Get your threshold bonus, yep.
So let's see. So I have 11 dice, right? Threshold of 4, is it?
Yes.
And then I think, let me double check my weapon or my item.
You're using the pocket watch, right?
Yes. So it'd be 6 pips.
You successfully cast the spell. You can roll your 6 successes, or your 6 dice for what you had gathered as an attack against her, and that'll all the successes from those 6 will count as damage towards it. All right. 4 damage comes at her. She looks up when she hears the sound of the gathering energy, just in time to see your flash of energy come flying down. What does it look like?
Since it's just my watch, it will be like it's a torrents of like fragments of like other souls and stuff, like just like in constant pain, as like they like realize that they're about to take out another soul as well, potentially. Like they feel like they're feeling sorry for the next victim.
All right. So these images of souls come pouring down towards her, and then as they reach her, the large purple scar across her face from a demon attack during the wars glows, and the souls get sucked into it. It looks like it burns and hurts her, but it does not knock her from her perch. There's like a bubbling of the flesh around the edge of the scar, and the scar might have gotten a little bigger.
She's getting back up. I might need some help here.
She is not a trash mob.
Talus, like going move closer, she's just going to stay visible.
Okay. You know what? That's on you. No problems. Okay. Yeah. Remy, Charles has become visible trying to do that. But as you're either running towards or away from the problem, you hear a sound come from your box. It sounds like the door has been brought back online on the ship. And Evatala, if you also notice this, you would know that this means that currently every member of your party is kind of within range through the doors. As Rurik is through one door that's open, and Dasko and Duftal are through the other door, and everybody else is in this room.
Can I try to stealth cast a spell?
Casting, because of the rules that were placed on your original spell, will disrupt your stealth. You'll be channeling ethereal energies that are just too disruptive to the structures that you've already built around yourself. So those structures will get torn to shreds by the new energies you start channeling.
That's true.
Just get her comms back up.
All right.
Okay. Well, no.
Remy, you do have a go.
I'm going in their box.
Okay.
I'm still stealth, right?
Yes, you are.
Perfect. I'm going in their box, and I'm exiting it.
All right, so you climb up into their box, which you basically end up climbing out of a wine barrel that was emptied. This was done apparently to disguise the fact that there's a hole in the floor. The wine barrel is directly over top of the hole so that everything looks normal. And you're in the wine room.
All right, I need to get out.
All right, so the door leads out into an empty cart, and you can see through the Yeah, through the sort of crack in the door of the cart, that the cart is stopped on a street. You
right.
hear Rorik's voice outside issuing orders.
Perfect. I'm gonna go towards Rorik.
Okay.
Rorik, you need to get in here right now.
I move post haste.
All right. Edgar, as you just go running towards her, goes, "What's wrong? We need Delia for something?" And then you're through the door.
Cool. What do I see on the side?
First, you see a wine room. There are wine barrels all over the place. One of them has the lid off. It appears to be empty, and in it is only darkness.
I move it over.
As you go into it, your eyes start to adjust to the light, and you find yourself in the cave. And there's Charles backing away from a cliff, panicking. And that's it. You don't actually see Evatala or Remy because they're invisible. But Remy is presumably coming behind you?
No,
Or are you just running off of the city?
No, I'm not running off. I'm going to hopefully distract Edgar.
Oh, okay.
Standing next to one of his guards, just want to yell, "Delia ran that way with a chest." And then I'll go back to our cart.
Okay. It creates some confusion. Honestly, when the guard hears that, he doesn't think Delia is stealing a chest. He thinks Delia is carrying a chest to beat someone to death with a chest. That's like his immediate thought. The picture in his mind makes him say, "Oh, that poor bastard, about to get beaten to death by a chest."
Fair enough.
Okay, I presume you guys are regrouping down there.
I'm praying that no one says my fucking name while she's down there.
So here's the situation. Delia's hand is going to reach the top at any moment. There is 2 more members of your party that potentially can support you in this. All you need to do is hack one of the magical force fields and get that last success on it to bust on through.
Can I do that without losing stealth?
Possibly. There'll be a roll for that if you want to try to do it without losing stealth.
I would like to do that.
Okay.
That would be what I would do in that case.
We have an explosive food on the other side.
On the other side of what?
On the other side of the room, if we can hack it open. It's a druid that blows shit up.
Oh, to seal the door so that they can't come through theirs. Is that right?
Or just to blow this lady up. I don't care.
What is she climbing again?
Does anyone want to look over the side to see?
I meant, what is it? What is the makeup of the landscape?
Okay, so the landscape is there is a long hallway. One end of that hallway is a doorway that opens up into the chasm where the university used to be, a giant hole in the ground. The other one goes to parts unknown depths. On the side of this hallway is a smaller door that leads to the room full of the floating boxes, which is the room you guys are in. And one of those boxes has a magical doorway that leads to the boat. The other one has a magical doorway that leads to the caravan. The box with the magical doorway leading to the boat is still sealed. Its force field hasn't been brought down yet. The box leading to the caravan is unsealed, and there is a path from there to the caravan that you guys just came through. Climbing up out of the pit is Delia, and she is angry and probably going to try and kill people. At this point, she might not discriminate against who she kills, just whatever she sees when she gets up.
All right.
So that's when everything looks I guess the additional question to that is like, so we're in this area surrounded by like all that stuff. I get that. Like, what are they standing on at the moment?
Stone.
Okay, that's the important piece.
Yeah.
The other important piece is if we blow up the other boxes, there's untold horrors inside of them that will come out.
Yes.
I bet more that like stone can become not stone.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to give this a go to try and do this without losing stealth.
Okay.
So what should I roll? Obviously, like the first of the check, and then to avoid losing stealth.
Right. So you're going to be rolling the first. You roll the check to see if you disable it. You need a success, so that shouldn't be a problem. But we should check just in case. Okay, you succeed.
4.
The new question is, do you succeed without revealing yourself? And so this is more. Weirdly, this is not about stealth. It's about maintaining a spell. So you're going to be making a. You're not going to be taxing your spell, but you are going to be making a spell check. This is just your raw ability to maintain the weave around you while you work on an arcane thing.
Okay. So is this just magic?
Just magic. This is not the same as casting a
Okay.
spell.
Cool.
You're not trying to really improvise anything. You're just trying to maintain the status quo to keep balance in your mind.
So just magic, no add-ons.
Unless you have something special going on. I always have to pause because I never know what talents you guys have. Sometimes crazy shit happens. There's also the ability for you to create a new talent. So you could, you could pay the cost in, is it experience or character points?
No clue.
I'm looking through the wiki.
Do we still have character points?
Yeah,
We added them back in. Yeah.
We never took them out. We just stopped using them.
We start, yeah.
I see.
But like 3 experiences equivalent to a character point.
All right, yeah. So if you want to invent a talent for, basically for holding your stealth spell together while doing a thing that normally would break it, you could purchase a talent for that. You'd have to, yeah.
So I don't actually have character points because ever since we shifted, I've not heard one.
Do you have 3 experience points?
I do have. I have more than 3 experience points, but yeah.
So you could spend 3 experience points to do this once, and if you end up doing it 2 more times, then it becomes an actual talent you have.
I think I will do that.
Okay.
I'm not sure what I want to call that yet, but I would like to do that.
All the names that come to mind are me are just descriptive. Persistent stealth, invisibility, stability.
I'm sorry, that might be it. That was very good. Okay, so I will do that because I don't think I can make this roll with just magic.
Okay. So yeah, so subtract 3 experience points. You are now on the way to developing that as a talent. I'm not even sure what it will tax when it becomes a talent. If that'll tax arcane or if that'll tax stealth. That'll be fun. All right. So you open it up. You have created a hole, and Duftel, you're able to phase through the wall or just tear the wall apart and enter the room. From the room. You've gone from one room to a bigger room.
I'm very insistent on getting through the wall without tearing it apart.
The phase through is easier. It's always easier.
And it'll be very weird for her because I'll be like just a ghost talking. By basically say, "Hey, big strongly, mind cooperative, down, angry."
And it's at that moment, Charles sees it first. A hand comes over the edge, and Charles, it almost seems like the stone cracks as the hand grips it. Maybe it's your imagination. But that hand isn't followed by another hand. That hand just gives a good yank. And she pulls herself in one flying motion up over the edge and lands on it like landing from a jump. Her scars are glowing slightly in the dark, and you feel an intimidation that you have never felt before. You are taking a composure attack.
Oh no, she's doing the hero pose.
So she's hitting you for 7 successes in a composure attack to intimidate you. The intimidation is essentially telling your character that you need to run and hide, and this is too much for you. And that's not her action. That's just something that happens because she's mad. If you choose not to run, which you're allowed to do, you just take the 7 damage to your composure, and then she gets her action. Alternatively, you could just run as far and as fast as you can, down the hall into the depths unknown.
Let's see here. Sec. I'm going to just book it down to where I think people are, because I'm not the sacrifice I'm worth to make.
Okay. Charles goes running past the rest of you, screaming. Which means that Charles is not the closest person for Dahlia to attack. So the closest visible target, I believe, is actually Rurik.
Bloody hell, this demon bullshit again. It's like my old teammate.
So Rurik, you're down there, I believe, right?
Yep. I virtually came through the door, basically. I see that she has murder in her eyes, and I just brace and go, "Oh shit!"
Dahlia is a little confused by finding you. She expected to find a different target. The other 2 targets present in the room are invisible, unless somebody has phased through a wall. Did somebody phase through a wall?
Let's say yes.
Okay.
Or I'm one with the wall. Either are fine.
So Dahlia yells at you, Rurik. She says, "Pick one, I'll take the other."
Okay. So who's the targets? Just Troy and Tice?
Yeah. The other 2 are invisible and can't be seen. And also, the the person she actually hates is not here.
I take up a defensive position with her. Gonna maintain the charade here. Try to escort her out of the situation, basically, and say like, hey, like, it's just the two of us here. We gotta regroup.
All right. She does not look like she's going to take a defensive position. She's going to make a leaping attack to try and stab at the dude who's phasing through a wall. As someone who's also gotten into fights and wars and such, you have kind of an idea of what's going on with her. She's in this sort of fight or flight mode where she's just going to make aggressive attacks as quickly as she can to drop opponents to prevent or reduce the amount of damage incoming on her.
Gotcha.
When you're surrounded by demons, it's a pretty good strategy.
Yeah. Gotta take out the trash mobs so you can reduce incoming damage. Shit. So she's going towards him. What's immediately around me? Oh, someone's dropped. It was Vivian.
Oh, she's been having some difficulty with connections lately.
Sorry, a Discord crashed.
Oh, welcome back.
Yeah, so what's in my immediate vicinity?
Darkness, a large number of floating boxes, some broken equipment, shrapnel from explosions the previous day, bits of what used to be a concrete snake. A lot's happened in this room.
Yeah. I assume that there's not really a whole lot I can do to prevent her current furious leap here.
It doesn't seem like there's much you can do psychologically. You might have to actually physically intercede, as 8 successes of damage are on their way to your friend Duftel, who's halfway phased through a wall. While the wall itself is made of stone, and so you don't think she's going to be able to just like magically disintegrate the wall. If Duftel's in it, she might be able to do enough damage to it that the damage hits Duftel as well.
Gotcha. Okay.
And her sword is a really nice one.
Gotcha. I'm not sure what to do here. So a while back I got hafted proficiency. Can I assume that I have a standard issue polearm on my person?
You actually have a party member that can acquire such a thing for you in a flashback scene.
Really, a lance would be my preference, but any sort of like polearm that I can do sweep with would be great.
I think Remy would need to pay the tax to trigger the flashback for that.
Can you go shopping for me in the past?
I mean, I can go shopping for anybody in the past.
Isn't that Ed's thing? Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah, and his character is not there in that scene yet.
Okay, gotcha.
Duftel has the ability to get him in though. If Duftel damages the wall or disintegrates a piece of that wall, then Dasco can be part of this fight as well.
You could. Remy could also trigger it.
Yes, Remy can trigger it from anywhere.
There's the possibility that if I'm invited into this fight by the wall coming down, then I'm just going to leave. That's fun. But yeah, I'm assuming I hear some sort of commotion, right?
Yeah, so from Evatala's private suite on the boat, the door has been opened leading into that room, and you can hear from in that room there is a commotion of combat. The room itself is sealed, but the druid Duftel can phase through that wall, and it looks like he's peeking into the room right now. Through the wall. You basically see Duftel's back.
Nice.
Just the butt, really. Kind of leaning in.
I have an idea, and it might be a really bad one. So Evatala is invisible in game, presumably, right?
Correct.
Still. I'm
Okay.
going to. And how does this developing a new talent work? Do I spend 3 experience every time?
Yes, and if you
Right.
spend 3 experience to develop the same talent 3 times in a row, you get it as a permanent talent.
Okay. So, does speaking remove my visibility?
Does what?
Does speaking, shouting, hurt my visibility?
No.
Anyway? Okay. So I'm going move a distance away from her. First, kind of also told Daska to stay back.
Fortunately,
because
Daska's not in the room, so you're fine with Daska.
Basically, when I got Duftil, I want to tell Daska to also stay back, and that just happened because it did happen. Because if this works, Daska walking in would ruin the plan. But basically, I'm going to run a short distance away, and do I know her name?
That's a good question. I don't know if...
Would Rourke have told us?
You know her name for your case files.
Oh, that is true. Thank you for reminding me that I planned this thing.
If she comes in this room, I mean, if that happens,
If that happens,
I'm gonna try and get her to chase me through the door, and then I'm gonna try and get out of the door, shut the door, and throw it over the side of the boat. That's my plan.
Good plan.
All right. So, yeah. I'm going to walk away and say, Delia.
Are you trying to mentally distract her?
I'm trying to distract her. Then say, "You want Dasko? We have Dasko."
Okay. That's going to distract her enough that I think Duftel is able to at least get out of the way. The sword does put a crack in the side of the wall as she stabs into it. And then that's going to be the where we stop things here at this moment. Looks like Chris has to take care of some stuff with his son.
It is.
Yeah.
Decent.
So we'll go ahead and close up here. We're just going to presume that Chris has given everyone an experience point.
All right. I love to give one to Jackie for delaying the cart just a little bit more. Also the great even when they're trying to pretend to be someone else, they just or part of the thing they're still oh, I still got to keep this defense formation for to make it look all real and stuff. I'd like to give one to Eben for being a real team player. Echelon, I want to give him one for what's it called? Outstanding moral fiber. I like to give one to Rav for their great plans of being invisible. And also, the last distraction to help save Kite's character. I want to give one to Shifty for being the best ambassador ever.
I really expected Shifty to just like be one of the people in the crowd at any moment, but yeah. Playing the cards tight to your chest. It's okay.
All right. I'll go. I will first give point to Tice for making a good go at knock her off the edge. I'm going to give a point to Kristen for even though your character didn't do anything this session, there was always this threat of Barnabas could be there. And weirdly, the one situation Barnabas cannot be in is the one we found ourselves in. Well, for now, yeah. There are ways for Barnabas to be there. I would like to give a point to Troy for facing through the door straight into the face of possibly the person you want to anger the least on this entire continent. And just have Duffdom completely ready to take this hit for the team. I'd like to give a point to Ed for just absolutely, once again, messing everything up. So where now every single guild thinks the other guild is up to something, and none of them are actually up to something, except they all are up to something, but not the things that they think they're up to something for. It's very good. It's basically the perfect cover at this point. Because if something does happen, it's just going to be a bunch of finger point. A point to Chris for poor lead Delia up into the sky. I genuinely thought that might work. But good on her. She's very, very cool. And point to Jackie for just when you heard the call, you came running. It was very good, and I think that has confused her enough that she's not quite sure what's happening right now.
Our number one skill is confusion. I'm going to go ahead and give out points. Kristen is asleep, so assume that she has given you all points. Chris, always with non-plans. Excellent, as always, as usual. Good plans. Also, the blink was just a genius little trap. I really like the pickpocket blink. That was really cool. Dasco for being the perfect agent of chaos and just really fucking shit up. Troy for getting in there and moving and shaking and coming face to face with a very, very, very scary mid-boss kind of level encounter and narrowly escaping. Barnabas is just gets points for being Jean Parmesan. Like, he could be anywhere, he could be anyone. It's incredible. And for Tice, good effort on trying to smash a very scary person with necrotic energy. Good try.
Sure. Yeah. So Tice for attempting to just magic blast in desperation, putting yourself out there for that. Hopefully, you don't take a sword to the face as a result. Vivian for invising everyone. I think that's super duper important. Chris for effortlessly stealing stuff. I appreciate that in a person. Kristen for maybe being there. and having that be entirely in character. And then Jackie for actually putting in a little bit of effort to help me avoid being murdered. I think that was important to me. So
She's a real bro. Loyalty. Loyal. It's one of her traits. It's right there. It's my character sheet.
All right. Is that everybody? Fantastic.
I'm sorry, Vivian. I meant to give you experience. I forgot about the permanent super cool invisibility thing.
It's cool.
We'll pick up next time we meet with the hopefully conclusion to this early boss fight. Didn't think you guys would aggro her this early, but you know what? That's the chaos of this party. We'll see how well you guys can handle it. Thank you all. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and we'll pick up next time.